Hello and welcome back to another video from me, FPL Crusader. Today we are talking about transfer plans, game week 26 and beyond. So we've had the two doubles. Next thing to look forward to is a blank in 29. And then after that, we've got some doubles, blanks, but more to be announced shortly, I guess, after the cup games are done. Most importantly, we need to keep aware of the situation because it could be announced at any time. I'm sure if you're on social media, you'll get a lot of fake announcements, but a lot of real ones as well. I just hope that these ones don't come on the brink of a deadline day. One of the things we do need to keep an eye out for is there is a mid-game week. Game week 27 is midweek, so you're probably watching this exactly a week before game week 27. So game week 26 is a weekend deadline as per usual, but then there's only 3 days difference between the first game of 27 to the last game of 26. So keep that in mind. But today, for the transfer show, we'll call it whatever, I'm only focusing on 3 players. This is purely a limp deep dive into the 3 players. So Mamouche is one of them, and the other 2 are midfielders. But let's have a look at this Mamouche fella, because he's about half the amount of points as Erling Haaland, and I don't know about you, but the other day when I was watching him, he looks pretty exciting to watch on the ball. Even the other 2 games when he wasn't getting full 90s, but he still looks good on the ball. He's pretty impressive. As you can see there, he's got 3 goals in 3 games. Yeah, that's fine. 3 goals in 3 games is understandable. Without the hat-trick, he wouldn't have any. We might not have been talking about him, but you never know. He kept getting chances. The wide forwards keep finding him in the box. So Savinho and the likes. We know City's got a whole litany of wide forwards, but they keep finding him in the box, which is very interesting. You can see from his heat map there, from SofaScore, he's definitely an out-and-out striker. He's all over the park, all over the front half of the park, specifically in the middle, but also sometimes in the channels. Interestingly enough, he takes a lot of corners by the looks of it. So he doesn't, maybe he's not getting the headers that you'd expect from a striker, but with a 6'5" striking partner, maybe that's how Pep's going to have to do it. With a 6'5" striker on your team, you can't really be the one to say I'll take the headers. But that being said, the likes of John Stones, Vardiel, and a few other City defenders have also been getting goals on the back of dead balls as well. So interestingly enough, for me, in the Bundesliga this season, 15 goals, 9 assists. Off 17 games, which is phenomenal. That's Mo Salah style returns this season. I only played 1 Champions League game, which is interesting. In the Europa League, he played 6, got 4, got a return every game, and he doesn't get many red yellow cards, which is very interesting. So the fixtures moving forward aren't flash for City. We know that. He's got Liverpool at home this week. Liverpool's played 4 Premier League games in 2 game weeks, but realistically, it's over 3.5 weeks. So it shouldn't be too much of a toll on them, especially considering they are rotating midweek. They're in a strong position for their Champions League. They're out of one of the cups. So that should be fine for Liverpool to turn up and probably dismantle this particular Manchester City side. But that's not really why we're here. We're not here for that Liverpool match against Tottenham. Expect City to do very well, and Mamouche could probably do very well. Then they travel to Forest. And if you've seen my show, the Hangover, Game Week 25 Hangover recently, Forest have now lost 2 out of the last 3, when previously they were on an undefeated run. Their defense is the thing that's giving it in. They're not defending well from set pieces, and also speed. Calvin Bassey got alone in the box for Fulham and got a header. He's an okay defender, but he does have a lot of speed to get away from people. So that could be interesting if they use Mamouche's speed on the break, and with Haaland and as I said, the other wide forwards, that could cause Forest some issues. Then he's got Brighton at home. Now Brighton are starting to play a little bit better, so you don't know what's going to happen there, but I do think he'd be too much for the likes of Dunk and or their wide defenders. And then Leicester, Manchester United, City always do well in that. Crystal Palace isn't easy, but most importantly, they've got that double in 33. Now, that's yet to be confirmed, but this is just projected. Everton away and Aston Villa at home. What would be the entry point for me? I'd probably think about game week 30. The only issue is, I'm probably keeping Chris Wood the whole way through. And by game week 29, I want Mateus Cunha, and obviously 29-30 is when Newcastle's fixtures turn back. So why would I get rid of Isaac? So that's my only concern. I might forego Chris Wood. I would be foolish to do so. It depends on how Harry goes over the next 3 game weeks. But he looked very good, very exciting, very fast. People are going to compare him to Mo Salah because he is Egyptian. Not really the same type of profile of player. Mamouche is quite tall. He's 6'3", I think he is, or 6'2", maybe. Just over 6 foot, but completely different to Salah. Other people have been saying he's a flash in the pan. Realistically, this is the last season, 23-24 for Eintracht Frankfurt. That was his first season. He was in double figures for goals in terms of the league goals. But he got 12 and he's backed it up this season with 15. So maybe he's just found his niche and he's doing really well. Who knows? For me, I would be thinking about bringing him in probably around game week 29-30. And I'll touch on my bench boost team later, which I have done for the next. I had done a couple of weeks ago, but that could change moving forward. It's had to change one position anyway because of a mad. The next person I want to talk about is Marcus Rashford. When he came onto the field against Ipswich, he did provide a bit of a spark, to be honest. This is looking at what he's capable of here in the 22-23 stats, 17 goals, 5 assists. That was after the Messi's World Cup, and he came back and he was absolutely on fire. Down both flanks, but he prefers the left. But he looked really good. So 34 goals in total that season, 10 assists, so 44 returns, which is pretty impressive. And one of the most impressive things is throughout that whole 34 returns, only 1 penalty and also only 2 cards. So less likely to get penalised. That might be different now. He's older and grumpier. I know I'm old and I get grumpy easier just because the world just passed me by and I don't understand what's going on all the time. But as you can see with that heat map there, he's more of a wide midfielder than a wide forward. So you'd expect him to do well with him and work well with Ollie Watkins if he starts getting those starts. Now, when he came onto the pitch at halftime, he had a couple of cracks at goal straight away, did really good, and he got the assist for the Watkins goal rebound from his set piece. So you'd expect Rashford and Watkins to work well together. I think they could complement each other quite well. I really think Watkins can work with anyone. But it seems like if the Villa fans embrace him, he's still got the Marcus Rashford of old in there. There's still the talent there. There's still the want for him to succeed. So I personally hope he does really good. I don't support Villa, Manchester United, or anyone else. I'm a full-on supporter. But from my point of view, I really like it when players switch teams. As long as it's not to a rival, but switch teams and then rediscover their form. I think it's a positive aspect. Lord knows we've done it a few times. Marco Silva has built a career off bringing in people who maybe have dipped lower than they should, then built them back up. The likes of Neil Smith-Rowe just scored on the weekend, and that was exactly what was going on in his young career a few months back. So he's got 1 return from the first game, but let's have a look at their fixtures, really. I know it says down there from 32 onwards, they're looking half decent. But before that, the reason why it's from 32 onwards, they've got Everton this week, and then they've got Ipswich, and then they've got a really rough trot. They've got Arsenal, Forest, City, and Newcastle. They've got Leicester in there in 29, which is why I had Ahmad. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry about that. So Villa have got Chelsea this week. Then they've got Crystal Palace and Brentford. I don't know why I was looking at United. It must be because he used to play for them. Crystal Palace and Brentford both away. So tough fixtures. Brighton and Forest. Brighton away. So I've got 3 away fixtures in a row. So you don't really want to touch them from 27, 28 and through to 30 because they do blank in game week 29. 31, they're at home to Forest, which again is a tough fixture. But then they've got Southampton in 32. And you'd hope by then they'll be starting to play a lot better. Right now, Villa needs something to change. They are 9th in the table. They've won 2 out of their last, I think it was 8 or 10, whatever I said the other day. They need a spark, and hopefully the likes of Marco Asensio and Daniel Malin, hopefully they can provide that spark for them and help them move forward. Because as a neutral, I don't mind Villa. I think they're quite interesting to watch. If Unai Emery doesn't get to Europe this year, I think there's a potential he could be poached. He could move elsewhere because he does have the reputation of being really good in Europe. So if people would go into Europe and they need to change if clubs are going to Europe and they need to change their manager, and this guy isn't in Europe, he doesn't want to be mid-tabling. So I would expect him to move on. that being said, I think he does have the personnel to get them out there. So hopefully they can do pretty well. Now, the reason why Christopher Nkunku is here is because there has been a 6 to 8 week injury to Nicholas Jackson. As we can see from the stats right in front of us, Nkunku's stats are pretty average, right? 21 matches played, 2 goals, 1 assist, 1 yellow card. It's not good enough. The reason why is he never gets starts. Chelsea have so many players. They've got a team to start midweek. They've got a team to start in the Premier League on the weekend. So the midweek team for the Conference Leagues, as you can see, 7 matches played, 7 goals, 3 assists. He is balling in that, and it's doing really well. The Nations League, I think that must be for France. Don't worry about that. FA Cup and the League Cup, he's doing well as well. So Christopher Nkunku, he was the great hope last season. His background comes from Red Bull Leipzig in the Bundesliga. He was a Bundesliga Golden Boot winner a couple of years back. So he does have the pedigree. I said a couple of weeks ago on the show that if he just doesn't start getting regular games, he's probably going to go because he's that good. Other teams would want him. Now's the chance for him to shine. They've got Aston Villa away this week. Then they've got 2 plum fixtures of Southampton and Leicester, Arsenal, Tottenham, Brentford, Ipswich. They've got some really good fixtures. They've got Jackson, who is injured, and Noni Madueke is injured. We don't know how long for. But as you can see from the heat map, he fits in that left winger side very well. I think he'll be playing up front with Palmer just behind him. I think that's Chelsea's best idea moving forward. On the weekend, they were just learning. So, yeah, Maresca tried to play them both up front. It didn't work. As I said to you, I think it would be better for him being a striker, which he's used to, and Palmer being just behind him. I think that's the best way for them to move forward. I'll keep an eye on him against the Villa in the Villa game and see if they change their formation. I could bring him in Gameweek 27 for Ahmad. And have a sneaky punt on him because I think I can afford that. He is a midfielder and he's relatively, he's under 6 million now. So be very interesting to see what happens with Nkunku. He's got explosive potential as is Marmouche, but depends on whether their managers actually give them the time of day for them to exploit that. Let's have a look at blank game week 29. We're only 3 game weeks away. And as I said, one of them is a midweek game week. So technically we're only really 2 weeks away from it. Once this week kicks off, once game week 26 kicks off, we're only 2 weeks away. Once again, I put myself in a position where I didn't really want to be. I need to get rid of Pickford and also Fabianski before I play my bench boost. So I might have to do that later on in the season now. Just force my hand because I don't want to get 0 points and just waste it. So I've forecasted 4 transfers on FPL teams. So I'll be starting with Pickford in goal. I've got Vandenberg away to Bournemouth, Aït-Nouri away to Southampton, Huijsen at home to Brentford, Mazraoui away to Leicester, and Mbeumo, Palmer, Dango is the one that came in for Ahmad, but that could be Nkunku. Could be Rashford as well, I guess. Not for this game week, but it could just in general. Kluivert's there, Cunha and Wood, and then on the bench is the 3 players I don't want to get rid of, Munoz, Salah, and Saka. My concerns here are, I'm not sure if I'll double up on the Bournemouth midfield. I think I might double up on Chelsea if they start playing better. The issue is if they don't start playing better, then what are you going to do? I thought they would have been much better against the Seagulls, but they just couldn't get it across the line. They still had a fair amount of chances, but no shots on target, 0 shots on target, which is stressful. As you can see from this team, I've got Bournemouth and Brentford, double ups and triple ups. Palace are gone apart from Munoz. He could easily go for Hall in this game week, but I don't want to play 5 at the back. Wolves are back, Aït-Nouri and Cunha. Yeah. Every time I've owned Aït-Nouri, he's done nothing, and then I get rid of them when he starts scoring. So I might just have to bite the bullet and keep him. Salah, Isaac, I'll keep them as well. So one of the projection things on FPL Team, if you're not using FPL Team, jump on there and use it. So one of the projections is there's a double game week in 32 and 33, but Newcastle double 2 game weeks in a row. This is purely because of their final of the EFL Cup. So something to think about. By 32, I'll probably have Pope in goal And I probably would have gone back to Gordon by then as well, because I haven't seen them pick up anyone in the transfer window. But that's how I'd look for game week 29. The only change from a few weeks ago when I put this up is that Dango Atara has come in for Ahmad, because Ahmad has a mysterious injury and no one can really tell me how long he's going to be out for. If he's back by 29, then I might just keep him. We'll see how we go. But yeah, that's what I'm doing over the next few game weeks. Let me know what your transfer plans are, and I hope your game week this week and next we're all filled with green arrows, and hope your differential scored hat tricks. My name's Luke, FPL Crusader. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you.